Okay, lovely. Thank you very much, and apologies that we had to have the short break there. We heard earlier from Seatfrog, now to Plusgrade, where Ryan Farias has worked with airlines, the cruise industry, and rail operators to start giving guests the travel experiences that they crave. Ryan brings a transatlantic perspective to our debate on ancillary revenue. Please welcome Ryan Farias.
Hey everyone. My mic on? You can all hear me good? All right. Really glad to be here. My name is Ryan Farias. There we go. I'm the commercial director at Plusgrade for our cruise and rail products. So that means that I oversee the contracting, the launching, and then the successful performance of all of our ancillary products in the cruise and the rail industry. I've been there a little over 7 years, part of my 15 years in the travel industry. I'm at Plusgrade. We're the global ancillary revenue powerhouse. You might know Plusgrade from bid for upgrade programs on flights that you've taken or cruises. Amtrak spoke yesterday about their upgrade program. We power that one. But we're way more than just that upgrade company that people think of us as. We have a suite of ancillary revenue products that we offer to our partners, and we really have a large global footprint and are the leader in the space. So here's a sample of some of the brands that we work with, over 125 brands globally that we power ancillary revenue products for. And for these partners here, we'll generate $3.5 billion in ancillary revenue opportunity for them in 2023. So it's way more than upgrades to generate that kind of revenue. So what I'm going to go through today are 4 proven ancillary revenue products that we see as a great opportunity for the rail industry. Now, these aren't the only 4 products that Plusgrade offers. They're certainly not the only 4 good ideas for ancillary revenue that are in the rail industry, but they're the ones that we see as probably having the best opportunity, that are sort of overlooked. And after we talk about the 4, one of the strengths we have at Plusgrade is in merchandising the ancillary revenue products to your passengers. So I'll go through some of the tips and tricks that we use as we merchandise them to make sure that they're successful. Now, before I dive into the first one, I just want to set something out there. Your passengers don't know that they want a better experience or what better experiences you even offer until you've marketed to them or until you've merchandised it properly to them. So just because your passengers haven't asked for some of these ideas doesn't mean that they're not interested in them, doesn't mean they won't pay you money for them. And in fact, asking them what their willingness to pay on some of these products would be will give you tremendous data about your passengers. So both the asking about the interest as well as delivering on that interest, that engages them with your brand more, that increases customer loyalty, and that really drives some meaningful revenue. So let's dive into the first one. The first one is what we at Plusgrade call Speed Pass. This is really any opportunity pre-departure to make their experience a little bit better. So we've all had delays in our travel. We've all been stressed by travel. We've all waited in lines and thought, is this line going to move fast enough? Am I going to make my flight? Am I going to make my train? The real goal here is that passengers want to expedite their travel experience and reduce their related stress. So what I've got up here is one study of North American airline passengers looking at some of the travel inconveniences that they have and what they're willing to pay to avoid having to encounter those. So I highlighted some important ones. The first one, to avoid a layover or just to get a direct flight, 63% of people would pay $88 to switch to that direct flight. So you could have a new ancillary revenue product of just identifying those connecting passengers traveling that day and offering them a direct departure for some extra revenue and make that upsell. Could be a new idea for you. The 2 at the bottom that are highlighted, skipping the security line, 41% of people would pay $46 to be able to do that. And early boarding, 30% of people would pay $55 to do that. Now, in the rail industry, your security lines, your boarding procedures, they're usually not as bad as in the airline space, but there's certainly opportunities. I took Eurostar on the way here. There were some lines that I waited in. I was running a little bit late, started to get a little bit nervous. So there's definitely some opportunity to engage and calm some of your passengers down with some of those. So what I'll show now are a couple examples from the industry. These are not programs that Plusgrade powers or a part of. These are just people in the industry doing really cool things that I wanted to highlight. So first one, Southwest. They generated $358 million in ancillary revenue from what they call early bird fee. That just allows you to check in earlier, get your seat assignment earlier, get an earlier boarding zone. It's a $15 fee to get that sort of stress relief in your travel. And so that's a lot of $15 fees to generate $358 million in doing that. Another example from the cruise industry, Royal Caribbean has what they call the Key program. So this is priority boarding, security on the day of departure. You're the first ones on and off the ship when you're in port. You cut the lines at some of the activities on board and the shows and everything else. So for those people who are looking to save that sort of time, have that better experience, $20 to $30 per day. So on a 7-night cruise, it's about $200 per person that they're charging for this. They sell about 100 of them per cruise, knowing their schedule. They make $10 to $20 million in revenue a year off of this program, just by making people feel a little bit more comfortable about what their boarding day is going to be like, what their onboard experience is going to look like. So what I would encourage is that you look at the pre-departure ritual that your passengers are going through. Where are they the day before departure? What are they thinking about? Where are those stress points? And what sort of products you could build or develop to eliminate that stress for them. So that's the first one. Next one is premium cabin upgrade. Again, Plusgrade, we've upgraded 11 million people. This is sort of what we're known for. I love upgrades. I think it's an absolutely amazing product. In my 15-year career in travel, without a doubt, the highlight of it is just revolutionizing the way that upgrades happen in the cruise industry. So I've handled Plusgrade's cruise program now for 6 or so years. It started in 2015. A Norwegian Cruise Line executive got an upgrade on one of our flight programs with a partner that we work with, called us, said, "Does this work in cruise?" We said, "Let's give it a pilot." So I worked on that pilot, took over the reins for our cruise program shortly after. And in the past 6 years, we have contracted 85% of global cruise capacity on the Plusgrade upgrade platform. It's a complete transformation of guest experience on cruises and what they're doing in making their cruises better. And it's generated over $100 million in ancillary revenue per year for the cruise partners that we work with that just did not exist before. I love that. I see the exact same opportunity in the rail space. I think in 5 years, I'll be back here talking about how we've generated $100 million new dollars in ancillary revenue for rail partners. We are working with Eurostar. We're getting a program up for them in a couple of months. We've got another European rail partner that we're working on a pilot program for the spring with. Now is the time where this is starting to get through. And when I talk to rail companies about doing an upgrade program, there are usually 2 responses that I get. The first one is, "I don't know that our passengers are really interested in this." And the second one is, "We have an upgrade program already. It does okay. I don't know that we need this." Fortunately, we have an upgrade program with Amtrak. If you saw their presentation yesterday, they mentioned it. And Amtrak's program answers those 2 points perfectly. So the first one being, are they interested? For Amtrak, their conversion rate is 3 times that of our airline partners. So when their passengers get onto the page with the upgrade offer, 3 times as many of them actually choose to make an offer than what is the average amongst our airline community. So the interest is absolutely there amongst rail travelers for the upgrade. And then on the second point, their program, they had an existing upgrade program in place before. What they do with us generates at least 10 times more revenue than what they were doing before. It's like you saw on the previous cruise slide, gigantic growth that's in the industry, and that revenue comes across all of their products, the long haul, the express trains, the regional service. There's really been a strong demand in seeing all of those. So if you can't get an upgrade, ancillary product idea number 3 is seating-related products or premium products. So these come in 2 different flavors. The first one, your traditional premium seating, premium economy, extra legroom, exit rows in rail, getting the tables that people sort of want a lot of times when they're traveling. And then the second one is what we call seat blocker or empty space that's next to you. So let's talk about premium seating first. This is a concept started in 1991 by Ava Airlines in Taiwan. They put a premium economy cabin on the plane for the first time. And the graph here shows you for airline orders that are coming out, the number of planes that are coming out that have a premium economy cabin on them. So started off in the dozens, and then started to come up into the hundreds, thousands per year, and now it's thousands of planes per year that come out with some sort of premium seating option on them. It's really taken off, and the reason for that is they pay for the rent of the space that they're taking up. So 2 examples here, American Airlines calling it the most profitable use of square footage on their wide-body aircrafts, and Lufthansa saying it drives, their premium economy drives 33% more revenue than their regular economy, and actually 6% more revenue per square footage than their business class. And normally in airlines, business class makes a ton of money on that flight, so premium economy actually turning even more revenue. So your trains, if you're thinking about changing them, a lot of the rail companies that I talk to say, well, our base product is really comfortable, especially when you compare it to a flight. And that's true. So maybe your base product is premium economy, and you look at putting a lower category in that competes more with the low-cost rail that's out there, the low-cost airlines that are out there. Maybe you come up with new options that are premium in your existing product, and you find a way to price those out better. But I think there's a real opportunity in the rail space to look at some sort of premium option and getting the ancillary spend on that. If you're not redoing your fleet anytime soon and you're not going to change those, you can still take advantage of the second one, which is seat blocking and getting extra space next to you. So in one study that pros did, they found that 65% of people would pay to have no one sitting directly next to them. I am 100% in this group. I have taken trains between New York and Boston to see my family for over 20 years. I pray that nobody sits next to me on every single one of those train rides so that I get the extra space next to me. As the popular blogger, The Points Guy, says, if you're sitting in economy, sitting next to empty seats is about as good as it gets there in economy. So at Plusgrade, we call this dynamic seat blocker. This is not a unique idea to us. Other people do this. Flix Trains in Germany offers blocking extra seats next to you as part of their booking flow process. We do it as a post-purchase scenario. We think it's better to merchandise it in those scenarios, and you get more out of it. But all we do is show a seat map to the guest. Here's where you're sitting. Here's the empty space around you. Move to a different row. Block it there. All of this happens day before departure, so we know what the inventory space is. Get them a good price on blocking some of that extra space. On to our fourth one. This is loyalty currency retailing. So this is probably what I've learned most about this year. In July, Plusgrade acquired points.com. They're the global leader in the loyalty space. So they're a Plusgrade company now, and my colleagues there in the past couple of months have taught me a ton. For example, airlines make more money selling miles than they do seats. I had no idea, but this is from them, the American Airlines loyalty program they help with. And so American Airlines generates $3 billion in cash off of their loyalty program per year. About half of that comes from card spend, so you have the credit card that earns you American Airlines miles when you use it. But after that, 30% of that comes from direct-to-member mileage sales. That is all points. That's their business. So they generate 30% of the revenue, or the cash revenue, for American's loyalty program. Only about 23% actually comes from flight activity. So these aren't really frequent flyer programs. They're frequent purchaser or buyer programs, because it's more about your spend or your purchase of them that's actually generating the cash for these programs. So why is this a thing, or what is loyalty currency retailing? It's any number of products that engages you with getting more miles. So buy-in, standalone, let's have a sale. You can buy miles for a discounted price right now, top up your amounts before your next trip, be able to cash in and redeem that. It's buying extra miles to get to the next elite status, so you're 500 miles short of being a gold member. Buy those extra 500 miles, get all the benefits of being a gold member. It's reinstating expired points. It's an accelerator, so on your next trip or all your trips next month, you're earning more miles on each of those trips. It's any number of products to get those passengers to engage more. All of that generates revenue, but more importantly, it brings stronger engagement with your brand. So this is a study that Points did with one of their partners, looking at when they made the offer to buy points, who actually purchases and who doesn't, and then tracking their overall behavior with the brand. And what they found is that the people who buy points, they transact more, they redeem on the points more, they're making more money from them, because this is really purchasing future travel with you. They buy miles to redeem with you, so you're just improving that relationship, improving that loyalty, and ensuring that you're generating additional cash. So we've talked about the 4 ideas. I'll move into merchandising them now, because getting these ideas in front of your passengers and showing them that they're great opportunities that they can't miss is really key. So we'll talk about the where and the when. On the where side of it, we recommend an omni-reach channel strategy. We think with our partners about where are your passengers before their journey, after their ticket has been purchased. How do we get in front of them not in one place, but in many? A good program for us has about 50% of the offers coming in from email and 50% coming in from web. By email, that's a specific suite of emails dedicated to that ancillary product or multiple products. And then we do follow-ups and whatnot and generate offers that way. On the website, this is anything from your mobile app, sending notifications through there, booking confirmation pages, my trip areas. All of that should generate about 50% of the ancillary offer as well. Then in terms of when to merchandise, this really depends on the product. For rail, we find that there's a shorter booking curve, so taking that lead time in. For upgrades, usually starting around 4 days within emails, day of app notifications, using those confirmation emails for people who book 2 days or 1 day before, showing them at the bottom there's an opportunity to upgrade this trip. For products like the seating blocker or loyalty points, there's obviously different timelines. You want to be strategic about when you aim that in there. But the bottom line is, have a strategy for ancillary products. It could be these, it could be other ones. Put them together, figure out how you merchandise them appropriately to your passengers, because at the end of the day, it all adds up. It adds up to real revenue, it adds up to more engagement with your brand directly, and it adds up to improved customer loyalty. All right, that's it for me, thanks.